Hi, this is Bob Serling, and this is 15-Minute Email Academy. Today, my guest is Christine McDannell. Christine is the living definition of the term serial entrepreneur. She started 9 companies in the past 13 years, including a company that made house cleaning trendy, a wellness spa, shared housing for entrepreneurs, and a luxury car rental service. So that's a wide range of companies. Now, a significant link in her success is her ability to write great emails, and I'm pleased to have her share how she does this with us today. So welcome, Christine.
Thanks for having me, Bob. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for making time for us. Let me get to the screen and the email here. And it should be coming up. There it is. Can you see it on your end?
I can.
All right, let me scroll to the top of it. Here we are. We're ready to go. Okay, so I have a little cheat sheet of questions because there's so much juicy stuff in this email, no pun intended. I want to make sure I got it all. So let's start by just setting the stage. Now, what is the goal of this email? What strategy did you use to achieve that goal? And talk a little bit about how this is actually part of a series of emails as well.
It is. So this is the first email of a campaign of 5. And what we were doing where we were pre-raising money for a kind of a second business, which was a cold pressed juice trailer, which was going to be in parts in the back of where my wellness spa was located. So yeah, the first of the 5, and we raised $25,000 from these 5 emails.
Okay. And now your subject line is very quirky, very different than the conventional subject lines that you see in many almost boilerplate emails. Talk a little bit about how you created that.
Yeah, so, and then what's not on here is the from address, and just a quick tip for your people watching or listening is that I always put Christine with Eco Chateau as the sender, which shows up in their email box, versus just putting Eco Chateau, right? So they know it's from Christine, the owner of Eco Chateau, and that actually helped tremendously on response rate, open rate. Subject, this piques curiosity, and that's one of my favorite tools to use on a subject line. A subject line will take me longer to come up with than the actual entire email takes to write. I will spend the most time because, right, I've got to get them to open it. I have to get them to open the email, right? Or all is lost.
Yeah,
so,
and this definitely has a strong dose of curiosity and would get me to open it for sure. So block number 2 is very interesting. This is a very colorful email, and I noticed that all your emails in this series are in green. And is that so it just fits with this being kind of a green company, or do you write all your emails for all your companies in different colors?
Yeah, no, great question, Bob. So I was doing it for branding purposes. I'm like, oh, Eco Chateau, we're eco-friendly, we're a green company. Let's do green, font instead of the boring black font. And multiple people had pointed out, hey, your emails are so much easier on the eye. I don't know if it's because it's green font, but when they're reading it on their phone, I had multiple people point that out. They also said it stood out more. So then I always, across the board, then I did that always once I heard that. But yeah, to begin with, it was just a branding reason. But then okay, I'm getting good feedback from that.
Well, it's interesting. It does stand out, but it doesn't feel like it's shouting at you like a lot of black type does too. So you're right. It's kind of got this gentle tone to it. It's very cool. All right. So block number 3 and 4 together. You open with good news right away, and then you quickly juxtapose it with potentially bad news. You talk a little bit about using that mechanism there?
Yes. So shame on me for toying with the emotions of my amazing readers, my clients. We had a database of about 15,000 people. These were clients that have walked through the door of our spa in 5 years. So Dan Kennedy is my #1 idol as far as copywriting. I've been following him forever. And so he always says, don't be boring. And every time I'm writing an email, that's going over and over in my head. Don't be boring. Don't be boring. So it's like, hey, great news. And then, oh, but a little bit of bad news. You know, again, I got to keep that reader engaged the whole way through. And that's why I did that.
Right. So let me scroll down and get all of block 4 here, because this is a really meaty block. And in this, you tell a story that pits a healthy option, which is your juice truck, against the evil, sugary, unhealthy option of snow cones, of all things. So how well does this resonate with your community, which is I know are people who are very interested in their health?
Most definitely. And then another, you know, other than don't be boring, stories sell. So we definitely wanted to intertwine the entire story. You know, there's me pictured with the owner of the trailer.
Yeah.
So just tying all that together. No, I mean, these are wellness. These are clients that are into health and wellness. Mm-hmm. They hate sugar. You know, I worked in the spa the first 6 months, and that was great for me to work in the business because I really got to know my clients, you know, really deeply. So then I knew how to write to them. You know, some people listening or watching this might not know their client as personally as I did, you know, on one-on-one basis. So that helped. Like I kind of knew what would resonate with them, and that was super helpful when writing to them.
Great. Okay, so let me scroll down and bring block 5 up. And there we are. So in this block, you build your offer and you elaborate on it by creating a vision of this lifetime member, which is your offer, actually using it, you know, so they can feel themselves right there ordering. How did you come up with this offer? Why did you decide to describe it the way you did? And were you afraid that there was any risk in, you know, all the juice you can drink forever for this one price?
For the rest of their life, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, these emails, this all was 3 years ago. And so, yeah, to this day, these same clients can come in. They can get a cold pressed juice every single day if they want. So we definitely held true to that. But you have to remember, you know, a couple things. First off, it's $25,000 we needed to launch this business. Mm-hmm. You know, could I went through the trouble to get a loan from the bank and pay interest and all that fun stuff? Sure. But then you kind of outweigh it with the fact that, okay, if we offer these clients this irresistible offer, right, and then we have them coming in the door every single day and they're grabbing a juice, more than likely they're going to be in there and say, oh, let me book a massage or let me buy this skincare product off the shelf.
Right.
And that rang true. So if you look at the stats, more often than not, either, you know, I don't have a single person that comes in every single day. So nobody took advantage of it in that sense.
Sure.
But the ones that did come in to get that daily juice when they were in the area, when they do come in, they do, you know, they'll book spa treatments.
So it's the ultimate.
You want them in the door.
It's the ultimate loss leader.
Exactly.
Yeah, worked really well. Well, that's great. Okay, so block number 6 is really interesting to me in terms of the structure of copy, because it's right here where you tie into your subject line, and then you do elaborate more on the benefits the member gets. But why did you wait all the way until now to tie into the subject line rather than doing that earlier in the email?
Again, I mean, my job is to keep that reader engaged the entire way through, and I'm not doing my job right if they're not. So then, but then again, I always do, and that's a great point. I'm glad you caught that, Bob. You know, you always want to tie into your subject line. I've read those emails where it has nothing to do with the subject line, and I'm like, what's going on? There's such a disconnect. So yes, I mean, I have to tie in, but this time around, I go, let me just do it, you know, in the middle.
Yeah, so it just, that curiosity pulled people all the way through till just about the end. That's great. All right, so block 7 is your call to action, and you give people 2 different options for taking that action. Is there a reason for this? Have you noticed that you get more response with 2 methods versus a single method of getting them to do what you'd like them to?
Meaning, are you saying between the help us launch as soon as possible and the lifetime?
No, the call to action, you have 2 options. One is to click, and the other is to call you. It's actually 3. They can reply to the email, they can call you, or they can click a link. So do multiple options, does that tie into just the fact that people have different ways they operate?
Bob, you catch everything. This is great. Okay, so my most recent email campaigns, in the last couple months, I've since sold the spa back in November 2017, but the last huge campaign I did, there was 5 or 6 ways, including Facebook Messenger, online chat through my website, text message, right? Those are new ones.
Yeah.
The more ways, every single person likes to communicate a different way, and
Right.
I want to make it so easy for them to say yes. I wanted to make it as easy as possible. You can come in and tell us in person. You could Facebook message us. You could send us a message on LinkedIn. You could text. You could online chat. The more ways you give your client a way to purchase, the better. So
that's great. And that's an important lesson that I hope everybody is getting loud and clear here. So now block number 8 is a little trick because I forgot to put block 8 on the copy I sent you, but it's your PS, and I'll just ask you one quick question. It's really interesting. Most people will repeat their call to action, but here you just kind of amp up the excitement with this little hint of, hey, it might help me get on Shark Tank. So talk about that again, the strategy you're using here in your PS.
Yeah, because in a prior email, just a regular email to my clientele, they knew that I was actually one of the finalists to possibly go on a Shark Tank.
Okay.
And so they were already so excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to really put that in there again, like, hey, this might get us there. So I love getting people excited. I think excitement sells.
Yeah, not only will it get us there, but you'll feel like you're part of it when you get involved with this, which is great. So I know the results, but let's just fast forward. After the 5 emails, what did that sequence of emails produce for you in terms of?
We raised the total amount, $25,000. So I was a happy girl. It was perfect.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, well, let me come off here and bring us back up a second. And there we are. That was great. I mean, that was just a tour de force. I really appreciate it. And I want to wrap up by asking you how people find out more about you, more about the 1,200 businesses. I think you've started 1,100 more since we started. No, more about you and your businesses and what you do and how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so my main company right now, right when I sold the spa in November, is Kindred Quarters. So it's co-living for entrepreneurs, which is super exciting. It's something that I've been a part of for the last year and a half myself, and then decided to create it into an actual company. We'll have locations nationwide, or actually international, very soon here. So right now we're starting. We're going to have 3 homes here in San Diego. We're opening up one in Los Angeles soon. So Kindred Quarters is my main focus. You can go to kindredquarters.com. If anybody wants to connect with me on personal networking basis, LinkedIn is probably the best platform, I'd say. You can connect with me on there. And but I mean, again, thank you, Bob. You had Yannick Silver on here. You had Perry Marshall. You had so many people that I just think are amazing copywriters. So I'm excited to be alongside.
Well, I can't tell you how highly recommended you came, and I can see why. It's a great email. You did a great job of just really amplifying it and elaborating on it. And so I really appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay, great.